Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Daily Word. Today, Tuesday, September 28th. Glad you could join me for our Daily Word together again today as we share in our few minutes together around the Word and what it means for us and how it might help us live our daily lives. So, yesterday was, by lots of calculations, day 365, and so today is day 366 as we start a new year of our daily words together. So, thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging in there with me as we spend our time together. Hopefully, it's helpful for all of us as we talk about this. Um, I'm in my dining room this morning, just got back from therapy, and I'm hurting a little bit. But anyway, so this morning I've chosen for our text Psalm 46. Now I know it's a psalm that we've heard before, a psalm we've talked about before. It's also a psalm that I'm sure all of us are familiar with. I use it a lot at funerals. I use it a lot in crisis moments because it has a lot to say to us about who God is in the midst of chaos. And so I was thinking about this psalm in relation to how our lives are. And it seems to me, and I'm as guilty as anyone, it seems to me that we live our lives with a lot of noise, a lot of chaos, a lot of things going on around us. Um, if you're like me, you like background noise. Even when I'm sitting here working, I have the TV on, although it's not on today. I have the TV on, or I have some music playing, or have some YouTube music in the background. Um, and we sometimes live in our culture now, I think, where we assume that the people with the loudest voice, who can be the loudest, who can say the loudest things, um, has the upper hand. And so I think this psalm speaks to us about what all of that means and then how we might live in the midst of noise and chaos. So we hear these words: God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth should change, though the mountains shake in the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble with its tumult. Selah. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. God is in the midst of the city, it shall not be moved. God will help it when the morning dawns. The nations are in uproar, the kingdoms totter. He utters his voice, the earth melts. The Lord of hosts is with us, the God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. Come, behold the works of the Lord, see what desolations he has brought on the earth. He makes war cease to the end of the earth, he breaks the bow and shatters the spear, he burns the shields with fire. Be still and know that I am God. I am exalted among the nations, I am exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us, the God of Jacob is our refuge. So this psalm is a pretty powerful psalm for us to hear in the midst of the world that we live in. You know, there is, for us, I think, in the world, enough chaos, enough loud voices, enough sowing seeds, as people do, of discord and distrust, that I think sometimes we need to hear who God really is in the midst of all of this. I think sometimes, we have, because we're forced to, it seems sometimes, like it or not, we make other things gods for us. We get caught up in political movements and in social movements and in all kinds of things, and then the chaos of the world, of our neighborhood, if you will, or what we see on TV, it disturbs us. The psalmist reminds us very clearly in the midst of our lives that God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth should change, though the mountains shake in the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble with its tumult. I think all of us have been in situations in our lives, and maybe even now we feel it a bit with all this going on around us, that the earth is changing, that the mountains are shaking in the heart of the sea, and the waters roar and foam, and the mountains tremble in their tumult. We get caught up in that, right? And we hear enough from people on the news or politicians or even, I'm ashamed to say, some preachers. We get caught up in the world's coming to an end, things will never be the same again, the United States is crumbling, whatever the quote unquote prophecies might be that come loudly at us. And I even believe that, people who think they can shout the loudest and use all the words that scare us have the final voice. The psalmist reminds us that it's really God who has the final voice in all of this. And for us, what we're called to from the psalmist is this: come behold the works of the Lord. And then he says to us, be still and know that I am God. Now, this be still in this takes on a lot of connotations. But sometimes I think for us, what it calls us to is to, if you will, it calls us to be quiet. That in the midst of all the noise and all the chaos of the world, and all kinds of folks who speak with really loud voices, what we're really called to is to be still, to be quiet, to find that quiet place, to restore a bit of calm into the situations of our lives. You see, I know that we have lots of responsibilities and obligations, and sometimes, the TV in the background just helps us. It's that background noise. But then I think sometimes it makes that then hard for us to listen to God. God speaks to us, as Scripture reminds us, most often in a still, small voice. And it's a level of volume, I think, that helps us slow down and get quiet and be still. It's why when I'm at church, and I'm not going to be there till later today, but when I'm at church early on a weekday morning, it's one of the reasons that I go in the sanctuary. It's a few minutes. Sometimes it's 2 or 3. Sometimes it's 5 or 10. But it's quiet. It's a place that's set aside for that, for sanctuary, a place of peace. And it's just those couple of moments, that I can then be still and listen for God's voice. And if we find ourselves afraid, if we find ourselves caught up in the chaos, if we find ourselves so worried about the future that we listen to all these prophetic voices around us, I think then we've missed the point that the psalmist gives to us in the midst of this text. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. And so I hope that for us, even though it seems like the waters roar and foam, and it seems like the chaos is all around us, I'm convinced, I'm sure of it actually. The chaos, I'm not sure is any different than it's ever been. The issue with all the chaos around us is that we have a 24/7, 365 news cycle. The news is constantly on our TV. We constantly have it on our phones or on our devices or on our computers. We never escape it. There was talk the other day, someone said, does anybody remember when they used to play the national anthem at midnight, and the TV just went silent. I remember that. And there wasn't programming again until the next morning. And we could rest, and now, now it seems to me that with all this 24/7 news cycle and all that's on our phones and all the things that demand our attention, um, sometimes we just need to be reminded from the psalmist, Psalm 46, to be still and know that God is. And allow us in our lives to know that God is our refuge and our present help. And, it's not easy, but I pray that you and I can do that and find then in the midst of our lives a way to live more holy. Not holy, H-O-L-Y, but holy, W-H-O-L-L-Y. More whole, and find in the midst of chaos a bit of peace. So, this is our psalm for the day, Psalm 46. This is our word as it comes to us. I pray that it'll be a blessing to you. Look it up, Psalm 46. Read it again and again and again and again and again, and allow it to become a part of who you are. So, enjoy the beauty of today. It is beautiful outside. I left early this morning to go to therapy, and actually, because there wasn't a patient after me, Kim just had me stay. And so we worked really hard today. So enjoy the beauty of today. Know of God's love that surrounds you in powerful ways. Be still and know that God is. Know of my love for all of you. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Have a great day, my friends.